Paddleboards. What's the point? The point of a paddleboard is to give you effortless riding in deep snow. But those cunning marketing guys out there are going to try and convince you that just one board can do everything. But it's a bit like having one pair of pants. They're pretty good, you can wear them every day, but when it comes to date night and the snow is falling, you're going to wish you had another pair. So how does a paddleboard work? Well, it's all about volume. And what do we mean by volume? We're talking about the surface area of the board. Traditionally, that meant a really long nose and a short tail. We're talking boards over 160 centimeters. But nowadays, shapes have been compressed and the volume is in the width, giving you more fun and just as much float. So we're going to start with the most traditional shape that we have here today. It's the Pras D1, and this board looks a lot like a surfboard, and Pras have decided to measure the length just like a surfboard in feet and inches. This is the shortest board in Pras's range, which is a 5'5", but that is a massive 165 centimeters. So what do we mean by a traditional shape? Well, what we have is a longer nose than Pinocchio and a shorter rounded tail than Pippa Middleton. We also find that the camber has been set back in the board. What this does is gives us a really long rocketed section at the front and a short tail, making the board rise really nicely in deep snow. The other thing about this Pras is that it is phenomenal on the piste. We have a progressive side cut, which means a big radius at the front and a much shorter radius at the back, also giving it a tapered tail, and this makes you boost out of turns with plenty of speed. So if you like Vitelli turns and Euro carving on the piste, this is also a great board for you. Next up, we have a modern take on another classic paddleboard shape, the Battalion Surfer. This is the kind of board that we used to see ridden by Japanese guys in powder and crazy French guys on the piste. We have a big nose, just like the Pras, but at the back, a swallow tail. It gives us a much longer effective edge, which is going to really help with grip on hardpack. But this hollow section in the tail means you're still going to get that sink in the deep snow. How is this board different to a classic swallowtail? Well, Battalion have used their triple base technology to shape the board and change the way it rides. Down at the front here, we have this extremely pronounced triple base concave, combined with their side kicks at the front here to give you loads of float in snow. And it softens towards the back to give us stability on hardback. This, combined with mellow camber, makes the board great fun for carving and messing about on the piste as well. So we've checked out some classic paddleboard shapes, and now we are going to have a look at something much more recent. This is the Nitro Quiver Squash. Just like the first two boards, this is a directional board with regular camber, and like the Surfer, it has an albeit much shorter swallow tail. However, with this board, where we get the float from is this enormous square-shaped nose and extremely wide waist width. This board forms part of the fantastic Quiver series by Nitro Snowboards, and it is brought to you by the legends from Drinkwater, Brian Fox and Austin Smith. So as you can imagine, it's a much more freestyle focused product, but do not be fooled. Like the Pras, directional side cut is going to rocket you out of the turns, and it's a really aggressive board, so make sure you take control of it, otherwise it's going to grab you right in the pussy.
Grab him by the pussy.
All the boards we've checked out so far have been traditional camber snowboards, and what we're going to check out next is something very different. This right here is the Yes 420. Yes say that nothing will put a smile on your face like a 420, and that's pretty much spot on. However, there's a whole range of boards now available that mimic this 420 style. So at just 148 centimeters long, how does such a short board do that? The main difference is the extra width all the way down the board. Just look how wide this board is, right through the waist width all the way to the tail. This gives it a really surfy, maneuverable feel in powder. On the piste and side hits, this board also works really well. Its short, wide shape lends itself to jibbing and keeps it really agile. However, it's got a tapered shape and a deep side cut like some of the other boards we've seen, which means it can also hold an edge when carving. So all the other boards that we've looked at so far have been directional, but the last one that we are going to look at is a true twin. This is the floater. No, it's not what you leave in the toilet. This is the latest powerboard from Lobster. If you're the kind of rider who cannot bear the idea of riding a directional paddleboard, then Haldor and company have made your dreams come true. The Lobster floater shares the Battalion Surfer's large convex nose shape, but on this board it's both at the tip and the tail, and its large waist width really makes up for its twin shape. It's equally great fun charging your favourite pillow line or sending a back one off a cliff drop, and that's because the floater is like a reverse engineered park board. Once you're back on the piste or in the park, it's very much more like your everyday all-mountain twin, and that's because it is one. So that's all the paddleboards that we have to look at today. If you've got any questions about other boards you might have seen, stick it in the comments below or stick it up your arse.